Hello everybody out there in the fantastic realm of YouTube. Esper here. I have been wanting to make this video series for quite some time now. So I'm going to be going over drawing fantasy maps. You can use this for your tabletop role-playing games, maps you're going to use if you're working on books, stories. I mean, just anything you can think of that you need a nice hand-drawn classic map. I mean, this doesn't specifically have to be fantasy, but here's what the final map is going to look like. So it looks complex. There's a lot going on, but I'm going to break us down step by step and show you the way that I do things, some of the tricks that I have picked up over the years, things I've developed through trial and error, and also just some preferences of mine. And I'll give you a little insight into why I like the things that I do. There are many different ways to do these kinds of maps. There's a lot of techniques. You can't really say one is better than the other. A lot of it's going to come down to your personal preferences, but hopefully this is going to help you, and this will give you a little insight into why I prefer the style that I do. And let's jump right in. So the paper I'm using here, specifically this video series, is very basic, bare minimum supplies. I am using a low-weight printer paper, just cheap printer paper. The pen that I'm using is nothing too fancy or extravagant. It is a Uniball Vision Elite bold ballpoint pen. So in this first video here, we're going to do the coastline and getting just a basic shape of the area. So the idea here is that you make a jagged, irregular, asymmetrical coastline or outline of your land mass. Specifically, what I'm doing here is what I call a regional map. So it's like part of a kingdom or a land or a country. This is not the whole kingdom. It's not the whole world. It's not a world map. So what you can do as you're drawing this coastline is just think of random shapes, miscellaneous objects in your head, and just say, okay, a boot. And you don't want to draw it specifically, just make it roughly in that shape. Okay, I'm thinking of a hat, like an old top hat. And see, I just drew like half of it, and it's very vague. People shouldn't look at it and just immediately notice what the object was that you were thinking of. Unless you want it to be that way. You could specifically make a map where you want something to have a certain literal look to it. So just keep thinking of different things. Think of, scorpion's tail, a crab's claw, just any old literal thing. Here I made a section that was a little bit smoother. I think there is maybe going to be a nice sandy beach, somewhere that ships could land and dock and people can easily get to it. So I just go and I think of all sorts of random things. You just have to let your imagination wander. Just let it wander and go with these kind of jagged shapes, and you'll eventually get the nice balance between a tight control and a loose hand. You need this kind of play, back and forth between tight and loose, and it helps a lot. Okay, so we've got this area here. Maybe it's the ocean, maybe it's a big bay. Islands are a great thing to put in. So I'm going to put in a couple islands here. First, just put in this little guy here. And you can see how lightweight this printer paper is. It's going to start folding and warping a little bit, but that's okay. In the end, you can scan the map and it all flattens out fine. Let's go with another one here. I think I was thinking of a shark. Yeah, I'm thinking of a shark as I'm drawing this here. But you see, it's very vague, and everything's, the proportions are different. And it can be nice to put a nice little secondary smaller island. And is also, if you can look at the island that's closer to the land mass, you can see I paid attention to the shape of the land, almost like maybe a long time ago a chunk of the land drifted out into the water. Now, something that you're going to see me do over and over throughout these videos is first you make the original layer, which is the basic line or the outline, then you put a second layer. When you put in that second layer and you put in little details, that is really what's going to make your map and your drawing look good. So I've got the first layer, which is the basic lines. Second layer, I'm going to put in some little wave indications. So already we get the sense of where the land is and where the water is. And this map is not intended to be incredibly realistic, but it is going to have little touches of realism throughout it. I prefer to go with a semi-realistic. I like things to have a little bit of stylization. I like things to have character. Sometimes if you draw things in a very literal way, they don't quite have that same feeling to them as if you draw things in a way that is evocative or artistic, just aesthetically, artistically pleasing. So here, just putting in little indications of waves, just one line and then a smaller one. Just making two little parallel lines, a big and a small. Big, small. And you can use light touches in these little cramped spaces. Just make a little light touch. There you go, big, small. And later at the very end, if you decide to scan this and color it, this is going to look even better. So now I'm going to put in some indications of waves. Again, these are just simple things. They're not intended to be so realistic, but it gives that it just has a nice feeling. It looks like something classic, something you've seen before, maybe something you first saw as a child, and it captured your attention and your sense of wonder. So this is about it. This is going to get you started. This is step one. This is setting the whole ball in motion. So as soon as you get to this point, you've already got a great grasp on what the overall picture is going to look like. So there are going to be several other installments in this video series. I'm going to get into mountains and hills, forests, lakes, swamps, rivers, badlands. I'm going to get into doing little special features, little special locations that are going to give your map these interesting spots that will catch someone's eye and just really give you a nice seed of inspiration to go adventure. These little special locations that just make a person want to go explore and search for treasure and secrets of the past. All right, so thank you all very much, and I look forward to seeing you in the second video. Take care.